We'll start here. All righty. And then last but not least, we'll go to the Facebook. All right, let's try this again. See if the internet and computer will work this time. Let's go to Facebook and share yet again to annoy the crap out of everyone. Let's see here. What had happened was... Dun, 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 dun. All right, that's me live right now. Share, right? Post. Dinner time edition, let's call it. There we go. All right, looks like we're working now. Oh, okay, what is up? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the What Had Happened podcast. It is Monday, June the 11th, 2018, coming to you live and in living color from the loft yet again. Hopefully this is one of the last podcasts I do from the loft, I guess you could say. I mean, I got a few more, even if we get an offer on the house, we'll probably have to close and all that stuff. But man, I look white as hell, but I'll allow it. I guess it's better than I guess, I don't know. What are the alternatives? I mean, I wish I had more color, but there's a lot of light coming in, and it's better than living in a dungeon. So we'll allow it. So how's everybody's weekend? A little bit of a nasty, rainy one downstate. We avoided a lot of the rain. Luckily, we had big plans for Saturday. We went to the Phillies and Brewers game, and man, oh man, was that a good time. Typically hate baseball. I don't watch it on the television. I do love going to baseball games. It's probably the best sport to watch that you don't have to watch, I guess I should say. My opinion, hockey is the best sport to watch live if you actually want to pay attention. Football is pretty low on the list of sports I like to watch live because there's so many breaks in between. It gets nauseating because you actually want to pay attention. Baseball, you don't have to pay attention to what the hell is going on. You can just sit there, drink some beer, eat a hot dog, eat some peanuts, eat some crab fries if you're at Citizens Bank Park, which can we stop calling them crab fries? Why don't we just call them Old Bay fries? There's no crab on them whatsoever. It's just Old Bay seasoning, and they have the nerve to call them crab fries. Yeah, I agree. Hockey is the best sport to watch live. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it that especially once you figure out what's going on, because it can be intimidating your first couple of times when you watch a hockey game. But once you kind of get the hang of what's going on and how to follow the puck, it's, in my opinion, the best sport to watch live. Baseball is good because you don't have to pay attention. You can just sit there and kind of chit chat with your friends, shoot the shit, I guess you could say. And that's all that matters. You're having a good time. We got there super early. I think the game was at 1. We rolled up at 10. It was initially supposed to rain, so I was going to bring one of my little, it's not a tent, an awning, a pop-up. I don't even know what the hell you would call it. I guess we'll call it a tent awning, a tawning. It's like 10 foot by 10 foot, bring it to the beach, and it gives you some shade. When I saw that it wasn't going to rain, I made the huge mistake of not bringing it because it was fucking scorching hot and the sun was ruining everything. I brought a whole bunch of meat, which I don't know if you've ever made a meat tray and set it out in like 85-degree heat where the sun's just beating on it. Got a little bit gross pretty fast. I was trying to eat it as fast as I could so that it didn't go bad. I had some prosciutto, I had some salami, I had some sopressata, I had some, what else did I have? I had some other shit, some gabagool. No, we had some jalapeno, jalapeno stuffed olives, sweet gherkins, which are my favorite go-to on a charcuterie board. You have to have your sweet gherkins there. Otherwise, it's not a true charcuterie board, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I say it. Is it charcuterie or charcuterie? I'm not sure, but I know it's kind of French. So I'm going with charcuterie, and it just got pretty gross. I had mozzarella on there, some provolone, some cheddar, and it got really, really gooey, really, really gross, really, really fast. But it did allow me to eat a lot of meat because other people were kind of steering clear of the meat that had been baked in the sun for a few hours, but not me. I was enjoying it. We had had a Bloody Mary bar. People were making mimosas. There was an adult Capri Sun mixture we had going on. Some gummy bears that were soaked in vodka. I guess they're called drunken gummy bears. Some watermelon that was soaked in tequila. Long story short, we all got pretty shit faced. No business at 35 years old drinking like that. But it was a hell of a good time. I'm not going to lie. We had the kids dropped off at my parents. I didn't have to worry about them when we came home. It was a fucking blast. The tailgating. So we go into the game and you know, at this point we were all pretty well tuned in. I would say for the most part, the group's BAC was above the legal limit. I think that was a standard, I guess you could say that was understood that we had been overserved, all of us. And so we bought a couple beers. We went and got our bobbleheads because it was Sandlot 25th anniversary day. So we all got Hamilton, the great Hambino bobbleheads. And that I mean, I say a lot of times like how old I feel, but 25 years the Sandlot came out. Like I remember watching that movie all the fucking time when I was like 12, 13 years old in the summer. I guess maybe I was 11-ish. No, 9, 10. I don't know. However old I was, I just remember watching it all the fucking time in the summer with, Squints and Yeah and Benny the Jet and James Earl Jones, the mean old neighbor that ended up just being a nice blind black man, Yeah, everyone you thought because he was an old quiet black man that he was mean and he had a mean dog, Hercules, but come to find out he was just a nice nice old man that had gone blind because he got hit in the head with a ball when he was younger and they didn't wear helmets back then because it was the ancient times apparently. When did they start wearing helmets in baseball? That seems fucking backwards to me. I mean, goalies in hockey didn't even wear helmets. They were probably called like bitches. Imagine the first goalie's like wearing a helmet. They call him like this huge bitch. It's like, look at this little fucking sissy over here wearing a helmet. The puck's only coming at his head 80 miles an hour, but this little sissy decided to put on a helmet. I got to get this Nancy out of here. It's like in 50 years, but I mean, who knows what players will have on and it'll be unheard of. Like football players, I don't know, will they be like fully wrapped in like bionic material that they just don't get concussions? They'll have like an exoskeleton. There'll be like a bunch of fucking beetles running around out there, like just flipping each other over with their horns. Which if you've never seen a beetle fling another beetle with its horn before, it's pretty fucking awesome to watch. I suggest you Googling beetle flings another beetle on the Google machine. If that'll work. I don't know. Yeah. So speaking of the Google machine, my computer, as I've told you before, is having issues with the charger. So every time you boot it up, it says hit F1, this isn't working. And when I went to update it, it restarts a bunch of times. Well, I didn't know that every time it fucking restarted, I would have to hit F1 again. So I would, go downstairs, it would get to like 15% and then it would restart, but then it would just stall at that please press F1 screen. So then I would have to press F1 again. And then when it came down to it again, you'd have to press F1 again. So it would get to like 15%, then 30%, then 35%. And every time it restarted, I kept having to hit F1. And if I forgot, it would take like 2 hours to go from like 35% to 40%. So long story short, I didn't get to record this last night. But it is what it is. I probably needed to get to bed anyway. I ended up, staying up too late playing my Madden League. I was up till like midnight doing that. So by the time I would have recorded this, it would have been like damn near 1 a.m. anyway. And I wouldn't have been worth a shit at work. Not that I'm worth a shit at work right now. We have 1 week left until we have our mini summer break because we don't do a full summer break. We have a summer session. So I get off after Friday, I believe until July 5th, I go back. And then on the 5th, I'll go back until August 23rd, I think. So we have like that summer session for July and August, but I do get the 2 weeks off in June. And then I get like a week and a half off in August, in between August and September. So that's kind of nice. But anyway, I didn't get to the podcast last night. Not because of any reason. Like I fully planned on it. I just didn't realize that I kept having to hit F1 every time the thing recorded or restarted because that's so stupid. Like, why wouldn't the computer be smart enough to realize I hit F1? I'm like, I get if it's a full boot up, but it was a restart. It wasn't, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why does that bother me? I have no clue why it bothers me. Anyway, back to the Phillies game. So I couldn't even tell you who won. I know that the Brewers really started to pull away. Matter of fact, let me look that up before I start talking like an asshole. The Brewers started to pull away. The right fielder we were yelling at, Christian Yelich, I don't think he was used to that type of heckling. It was Josh Kelso a couple years back. We were at Justin Witt's bachelor party. Um, we started heckling with compliments, and ever since then, every time we go to a baseball game, we try to heckle with compliments. And Christian Yelich was not ready for that, and neither were the people in our section, quite frankly, because I mean, were we yelling? Yeah. I genuinely don't remember anything getting too vulgar. I think when Ryan Braun came up, there might have been one or two, maybe an F-bomb was said. I genuinely don't remember whether or not someone dropped an F-bomb, but there was a family next to us, and the dad started yelling like there's kids here. And so, of course, yeah, it was 12-3. The Brewers ended up winning that game. Yeah, it got out of hand fast. No wonder I wasn't paying attention, because it was a goddamn blowout. But anyway, so Ryan Braun will come up, and, obviously if you have followed it, yeah, just maybe there might have been an F word. I mean, I don't know who would have said it, though. In our group, I can't imagine who would have done such a thing. So anytime Ryan Braun came up, he was obviously implicated in this whole steroid shit with Barry Bonds. That's how long Braun's been in the league. He's been in there doing the roids for like now 10, 15 years, whatever it is. And anytime he would come up, we would just heckle him, obviously, about doing steroids and things like that. So one time, I guess there was an F-bomb said, and the dad next to us was basically like, there's kids here, don't say the F word, which I get. I understood. Look, we're out in public. I guess, I mean, I don't care if my kids hear it. Yeah, Ryan Braun is a huge bum. I can even say it on the podcast that he's a fucking bum without somebody's dad yelling at me. So look, I mean, I bring my kids out in public. My kids hear the F word, so I genuinely don't. It doesn't bother me if someone curses in front of my kids, as long as they're not being nasty or cursing like at my kids and threatening my kids. I really don't give a shit what my kids hear, because they hear probably worse in my living room than they do at a Phillies game, unfortunately, because I have a potty mouth and I don't censor it in my house. In public, I do. So I know this is hard to believe, but I genuinely was not cursing. I was sticking to the whole yell compliments at the opposing player mantra. Well, I guess the cursing had got the dad so mad, and then when he yelled at us and we kind of told him, like, relax, like you're at a baseball game. It's Saturday afternoon. Like, if you don't want your kids to hear curse words, maybe put some earplugs in their ears. I guess he didn't like that. One of his buddies tried to like buck up like he was fucking Billy Badass. And then I think he realized that there was a lot of us, and he just sat down and shut up. So then we got security, and security escorted probably, I guess, 4 or 5 of us out. But they didn't escort me and Lindsay out. We were still sitting there, kind of like, oh man, that sucks that those other people got escorted out. Like, instead of being good friends and like leaving with them, we were like, nah, we're gonna stay here. We'll watch the game. We'll finish our beers. We'll go meet up with them after. We know where we were in the parking lot. So, instead of being decent humans, we were like, we'll just be shitty people and we'll hang here for a little bit and enjoy the alone time. So we're just chilling there. And then, like probably, I guess the other group got kicked out. And then like 5 minutes later, security comes back down, and, they're like, sir. And I turn, I'm like, yeah, what's going on? What's wrong? You booted our friends, and we've just been sitting here chilling. And they're like, we've gotten more complaints. And I was like, don't think so. But what's the deal? What's the problem? And they're like, you need to leave. And of course, I didn't take too kindly to that. My wife didn't take too kindly to that. Kind of gave them the good old fashioned entitled white person, like, this is ridiculous. We didn't do anything. Like, we paid for our ticket. Like, this is insanity. I can't believe you're doing this. It didn't help that the people all around us were kind of feeding into it. And they're like, they didn't do anything. Let them stay. Leave them alone. So I was like, yeah, let us stay. Leave us alone. And the guy happened to be a bit overweight. That was part of the security. So of course I wasn't going to go. I was leaving, but I wasn't going to go quietly at this point. So I just told him that maybe from walking all these stairs, he should maybe not have a heart attack because he's a little overweight. And his buddy, who's about 75 and had a limp, he didn't take too kindly to that. And he was like, real classy guy you are. Real classy guy you are. And so I turned to him and I said, oh, well, maybe if you handled your retirement better, you wouldn't have to be hobbling around a baseball park as a security guard. And then he got really pissed when I said that, because I think I took a shot at like his manhood. I took a shot at his bank account. So he was real pissed about that. And then it went from "you guys need to leave" to "you guys need to stay right here." To which I've been I've seen enough internet videos, and I've been around the block a time or two, that I know that when the narrative shifts from "you guys need to leave" to "you guys need to stay here," shit's not going well. So the third security guard that came over, I kind of blame this third security guard, because like we were talking to these so yeah, the limper, he was a gangster. The old man with the peg leg hobbling around. He took no shit. I will give him that. He definitely took no shit. Like, I don't know how he got his limp. He may be a damn Vietnam War veteran for all I know. He probably could have ripped my throat out with his teeth. But he looked very feeble. He was limping around. So I don't know what his backstory was, but I know that at that point I was already getting kicked out. I might as well have some fun at other people's expense at this point. So those two guys are kicking us out. And that's when the narrative shift. And this is my big problem. I titled the podcast "Thin Blue Line" because this is, and it wasn't even cops. It was security guards, but it's all the same goddamn mentality. I'd like to take a thick brown shit on your thin blue line. So instead of trying to figure out the story or figure out what's going on, these other two guys had asked us to leave. And the third security guard comes up and then says, "You guys need to stay here." And like I said, I've been around the block a time or two. I know that when the narrative shifts from "you guys need to leave" to "you guys need to stay here," shit just escalated, because it went from just go to now we need to figure out what's going on, and somebody's in big trouble here. So at that point, my wife and I both were like, "Nah, we were asked to leave. We're walking." So my wife takes off. She starts walking. I start walking. Well, then this third security guard that came up, she's like probably an old woman. And again, no offense to women, but if you're going to be a security guard, you should something. And she was probably the only thing she could secure was like a pot roast in the oven, to be completely sexist and stereotypical. But she was, just put it to you this way, she wasn't stopping anybody from leaving, because Lindsay, she was like, "You guys need to stay here." And Lindsay and I both said, "Nah, we don't, we're going." And so we started walking, and the woman went to grab Lindsay, like tried to like tackle her. And Lindsay was like, "No, you said to leave, we're leaving," and kind of like just kept walking. And the woman couldn't get a hold of Lindsay because the woman was pretty ridiculous. And Lindsay was like just walking away from him. The woman couldn't even keep up. I don't know where they find their security at Citizens Bank Park, but they need to do some athletic training, because these people were pathetic. Anyway, when Lindsay starts walking away, the woman radios to fucking Rin Tin Tin on her walkie-talkie and calls for the K9 unit. So now I'm like, oh shit. So Lindsay's probably 5 to 10 feet ahead of me, and I'm behind her. And I'm just like telling Lindsay, like, just keep walking. Don't say anything to anyone. Don't touch anyone. Just keep walking. Because I saw shit going down like that fucking girl in New Jersey who got tackled and mollywopped in the head by the cop. I don't know why every episode on camera I end up looking like I'm jacking something off. So, but no, if you saw it, the guy was giving the girl some hammer fists on the New Jersey beach. And yeah, was she a smart ass? Yeah. Did she deserve to get fucking hammer fisted? Probably not. But so that's kind of playing in my head right now, that someone's getting ready to get hammer fisted, and it's not going to be my wife. And if it is, I'm going to jail, because I'm going to knee somebody in the face. Luckily, that didn't need to happen. So Lindsay just keeps walking. The woman security guard realizes she can't catch her. She can't grab her. So she just kind of gives up chase, and she just lets her keep walking. And then here comes Rin Tin Tin. Oh, phone call. Lindsay. Okay, well, that was weird. So anyway, so as I'm walking, Rin Tin Tin's coming up, and it's a police officer with Rin Tin Tin, and kind of yells at me and says, "Hey, sir, come here." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I turn around as we're walking out, and I go over to the cop, because the cop called me over. So as the cop calls me over, they're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Well, there was some vulgarity. We were asked to leave, so we're leaving." And then the cops like, well, which security guards are? I'm like, "Those three that were following behind us, blah, blah, blah." So then as those three come over, now the cop goes from like kind of cordial to now all of a sudden it's hostile, because I guess they got to show off in front of the security guard friends. So then it's like, "Sir, I asked you to go. You need to go now. And I'm like, all right. So the security guards are yelling this. Then the cops yelling at me too, like, you got to get out of here now. And I'm like, I was leaving. You asked me to come over here. So long story short, nothing ended up happening. But um, you know, when you're 34 and you're getting booted out of a major league ballpark, it's a bit, I guess you could say embarrassing. Yeah, I was a little bit embarrassed, but it was funny. It was a good story. It was a good time, but it was a bit embarrassing. Like, who the hell wants to be escorted out of a baseball stadium when I really genuinely feel still that I did nothing wrong. And I know that's super white entitled fucking thing to say, but I really don't think I did anything to deserve to get kicked out. I've done plenty of stuff in bars and in baseball stadiums and in my life to where I deserve to get kicked out. But I really didn't do anything that was like, I wasn't like lifting up my shirt and flashing my man boobs. I wasn't like pulling down my pants and mooning anyone. I genuinely don't remember cursing. If I cursed, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen in our group, because out of the group of 20 people, I'm sure there was an F-bomb said at some point, but it was not like it was not to the point where it needed to be brought to that level where security had to get called. I think what happened was daddy got butt hurt. He thought he was going to look like a big tough guy in front of his wife and kids. And he ended up getting kind of punked. So then his wife was like, you need to go tell security. And he had no other option at that point. And when your wife tells you need to go talk to security, you got two options. You got to hear her for the rest of the game and the whole ride home, or you go tell security. So, I mean, I understand why he did what he did, because if I got to pick between listening to my wife or just being embarrassed and going to tell security, like, hey, I bit off more than I can chew over here, that's probably what I'm going to do too. We all know how wives are. They can cut you deep, which they'll get you. They'll get you real good. Apparently someone's walking by my house. You guys have dogs that, like, I get it. It's kind of in their nature. They want to protect their territory, but it's like, it's a leaf. A leaf just blew by the house, guys. Like, what's going on right now? So I don't know what the hell. Hopefully it's not an actual human at the house. He's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, the one time that I actually do need them to bark and go crazy, they'll be like licking the person's feet. Like, hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the house. Please take the TV. Let's see. I don't know why I couldn't hear Lindsay when she called. No, I didn't hang up on you. I couldn't hear you. I'm recording. This is great TV, the podcast. How's that? Was that good? Was that good to watch me text my wife back for 30 seconds? Because, like I said, you when the wife talks or asks you to do something, you respond. Otherwise, you end up in the doghouse. And my dogs are going to end up in the doghouse. I'm going to put them in their crate. I don't know if you guys have ever been in my house, but it's like 4 stories. So you really shouldn't hear them barking, but you probably do. They're insane right now. They're going crazy. I'm really worried that there's someone out there. Well, it's middle of the day. Who would come rob my house? But I guess if they did, who would I call? Because I just talk crap on the police. And if someone robbed your house, who would you call? I'd call the police because it's their job. I can make fun of the thin blue line and still call the police. I make fun of McDonald's cheeseburgers, but when I want a shitty cheeseburger very fast, guess where I go? McDonald's. So just because you make fun of something or you don't completely agree with something doesn't mean you can't then use said thing. I'm pretty sure they spend my tax money. I'm pretty sure that they have no problem pulling me over and taking my ticket money. So trust me, if someone breaks into my house, yes, I'm calling the police. And then the next day, I'll probably still make fun of the thin blue line. I just think the whole thin blue line concept is ridiculous. I want every police officer to get home safely to their family because they all have families. They all want to go home safely. I understand every bit of that. I would never wish harm on anyone, especially a police officer, someone who quote unquote risks their lives every day. That's not what I'm saying, but what I'm making fun of is just the whole thin blue line mentality that cops are never wrong and we got to have this herd. It's basically like a fucking gang. What I think where it shifts for me is like, well, they're all not bad cops. And I agree. There's probably 95% very good cops. But when that 95% covers for the 5%, that's when I start to get huge issues with it. And it's because of that thin blue line mentality. Like, you don't want to go against your brothers. You don't want to go against your guys. Even though you just watched your partner beat the shit out of someone unjustifiably. Now you got to lie on your police report. Otherwise you're the narc and you're the bad guy. I think that's where the disconnect is for me, because like, yeah, I get it. Everybody's got a job. Everybody wants to go home. Like, if I saw one of my teachers get in an argument with one of my students, may I see things the way my fellow teacher saw it? Probably. So I get that aspect. I understand it. But it goes to a whole nother level with policing, whether they're turning off their body cams or coordinating their stories or whatever it is they're doing. I think that's where you get the huge disconnect between the rest of society and then the thin blue line crowd. Not to say I wish ill will on anyone, especially police officers, because I don't. I'll probably get pulled over tomorrow. Like, this is getting broadcast out to the Dover PD. They're just going to be waiting outside my development. Sir, you didn't signal going right, and we're having a seatbelt check, and you didn't buckle your seatbelt as soon as you pulled out of your driveway. So I'm going to need you to step out of the car. Then I'll get tasered, and then God knows what else will happen to me after that. But now, speaking of McDonald's and their shitty burgers, did you guys see that they're thinking about going to more kiosks, and it's got nothing to do with employment costs? Like, I would have thought they'd have been like, oh, we brought down our costs at our stores like 12%. No, what they found out was with these kiosks, people spend more time at them and they order more food at them because your fat asses aren't as ashamed as typing in a computer screen what you want to eat as you are telling a person. So when you're telling a person, you know what, I'll get the small fry. But when you got the computer screen and your fat ass doesn't have to be ashamed about it, you're getting a large, you're getting a supersize. And it's funny that McDonald's saw, I think they said they saw like a 1.7% increase in revenue at stores with the kiosks. And it had nothing to do with employment costs. Oh, there I go, smacking my mic again. Nothing to do with employment costs. It was just straight, people order more from the kiosks than they do from an actual person. And I think that that's got a lot of psychology involved, because there is a little bit of that shame in that, oh shit, I'm at McDonald's, maybe I shouldn't get a large. So when you're telling another person that, you might temper it and say, give me the small, give me the medium. Or you could be the guy who gets the extra large and then gets the 99-cent iced tea and fills it up with a Diet Coke, because that makes the huge difference. You got to go with the Diet Coke. So, because that cancels out the 1,400 calories in burgers. And well, Wawa? Yeah, Wawa is the same way. Like, if I had to give my order to someone, I'm probably going to get, just the regular old shorty. But when I got that computer screen in front of me, give me that classic, baby. A little bit of extra mayo, because I don't have to tell you that I'm a fat ass. I can just type in a computer screen and I'm just anonymous. I'm 269. The person behind me doesn't hear me say extra mayo, extra oil, extra vinegar. Do you have any lard back there? Any Crisco? Can you spread some Crisco on the bread too? You don't have to worry about any of that, because you can just touch the screen and go. I'm telling you, it's got very little to do with employment costs and a lot to do with that we're gluttonous fat bastards in America. And if we don't have to tell another human that we're gluttonous fat bastards, well, we appreciate that. We appreciate the touch screen. But we do have to figure something out in the yeah. Well, I think all drinks are now $1 at Royal Farms. I went in there to get gas today because I had some cash on me because I won my Golden State bet. And all their fountain drinks are $1. So, of course, you're going to get the 44 ounce. Why would you get a 16 ounce when you can get a 44 ounce for the same price? Duh, makes sense. I don't need my feet, but I need this Mountain Dew right now. But so I went in there and they got to figure out their filtration system at Royal Farms. Anytime I leave there, I smell like I jumped in a vat of chicken oil. I don't know what it is, but every time I leave Royal Farms, I smell like a goddamn, like I fried myself for at least 2-3 days afterwards. I don't know why or what it is. Linz? Oh, look at that. She was calling me because she was coming home early. What a pleasant surprise. Linz, you home? Hey. Hey. You're on the podcast. Cool. I think he's in the bathroom. You get the cool response from your wife? That one's fun too. Cool. Oh, again, look, I love my wife. I'm with her because she gives me so much shit. But I had a kid on my soccer team for the past 3 seasons, and 2 seasons ago, I wasn't there for the last game. I forget what we did, but we went somewhere. It might have been somebody's wedding or something. I think it was a wedding. And we weren't there for the last game. And that's when they give out pictures and medals. So I had this kid on my team again, and his mom was picking up the medal, and she left the picture from 2 years ago. And Lindsay gets it, and she's like, "When is this from?" And she saw it said like 2016 on it. And she was like, "Oh my God, you look so young there." And then the next sentence out of her mouth, and she wasn't trying to be a bitch at all. She was just commenting. She was like, "You look so young there. You're not going to age well." Like, now we go talk about a shot to the man's heart, to the man's ego. I'm thinking I still look pretty good. I'm 34. Maybe I'm looking more like I'm 45, but I get out of the shower. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, man, you still got it. You can do this. And then your wife tells you you're not going to age well. That's a shot to the manhood. Maybe I have to do some push-ups tonight or something to try to rectify that situation. But one good thing that I will say about that is that I have a really good support system. So that's not going to send me into a downward spiral of depression, which the Kate Spade suicide really surprised me because although women, I think, attempt suicide more, they're not typically as successful as males. So that surprised me that it wasn't like an overdose or an attempt or something like that. And the fact that she hanged herself, I thought was kind of ironic. And of course, I got yelled at for making the joke. I said, well, I guess now your Kate Spade hanging up in the bedroom has a whole different meaning. And Lindsay was like, people don't hang their Kate Spades up in the bedroom. They put them in their closet. And I was like, oh, so if she did it in the closet, it would have been more ironic. And I'm an asshole for making that joke. But I was very surprised by that. And then the Anthony Bourdain one really, I don't know that it shook me, but it made me question a lot about like him, I guess you could say. And I know it's terrible to say because depression can fucking grip anybody. You can be obviously a multimillionaire, a celebrity, someone who you deem is super successful. But the Bourdain one really kind of shook me because he seemed to really love his daughter, have a really good relationship with his ex-wife, was in a new relationship, had been universally praised for his work and the way he'd kind of quote unquote turned his life around, going from like, a user and kind of down and out and wasn't going to make it to 30. And here he was now, a successful guy on Parts Unknown, traveled to over 100 countries, things like that. And his whole mentality was kind of like, he was pretty liberal in his beliefs. Like obviously he was a big proponent of the Me Too movement with his new girlfriend, was one of the initial accusers of Harvey Weinstein. So he was very liberal in his beliefs. But what I liked about him was he still had that conservative work ethic. Like not that I compare myself to Anthony Bourdain. That's such a dick thing to say, or such a fucking, I don't know. I'm pretty narcissistic. I have a pretty big ego. Yeah, I'm just like Anthony Bourdain. No, but like in the sense that I'm very liberal on social issues, but at the same time, I do agree that you need to work hard. You need to make your own breaks and make your own way in the world. And he really, for whatever reason, for me, I kind of viewed him as like a more liberal Mike Rowe. Like he was very much, you got to make your own breaks in life. Life is what you make it. You got to go out every day and make conscious decisions to make your life worthwhile and things like that. Just those things that you can agree with and wrap your head around it. And I hate to say it, but like his suicide for whatever reason kind of like diminished that whole mantra for me. And it sucks to say, and I still will watch his shows when they're on, and I'll pass down the book Kitchen Confidential to my kids and let them read that because I think it's a really good book. And I don't know, but I definitely look at him differently. Like I don't want to say like it's a weakness or it's it's coward's way out or anything like that, because I've said that before in the past about suicide, that I just couldn't imagine doing it like and this is super dark to say, but like I just wouldn't be able to like think about my daughter, my son, my wife. They'll never see me again. Like I just feel like it's a super selfish thing. But with that being said, I do want everyone to realize, like, I think part of it is what we're on right now. Like we're all on social media, we're all on the Facebook, and we see Everyone, I know that's the old saying, you see everyone's highlights, don't compare your everyday with someone else's highlights, but it's true. And there's like this movement in the MLM community, the pyramid schemes, or the fuck you want to call them, the Ponzi schemes, multi-level marketing, the momtrepreneurs, whatever they want to call themselves. Like it's this new thing, like don't be ashamed to brag, or don't that's not what they call it, but that's basically what they're saying. Like, you worked hard for this, like don't be ashamed of it, kind of shit. And their whole concept is to kind of like, look at my lifestyle. Like, very rarely is it about the products. It's more about like, look at this lifestyle I've achieved. And I'm not blaming multi-level marketing companies on the rise in suicides at all. I think that it's very multifaceted. Obviously, I do think social media plays a huge part. I don't think multi-level marketing companies play a huge part, but I was just saying those type of posts in general are the whole like, oh shit, look, they got their shit together, or look how great their life is. Like, I'm over here, I got Dorito dust on my chest from last night still, and this guy's out running a 5K. Like, I'm a piece of shit. So I don't know. I want, not that I want everyone to bitch and complain on Facebook, but it would be nice to hear your shitty stories. Like, I know a lot of my friends are not afraid to share like their parenting fails, and sometimes they share the funnier ones, obviously, because who wants to say, oh yeah, I closed my kid's fingers in the car door? That's not that funny, like, but it happens. You fuck up from time to time, or you start recording a podcast and your son takes a crap and he's sitting on the toilet for 20 minutes, and you're just hoping that he'll eventually wipe himself. You know, sometimes you do that too, but it's like, I do wish like people complained a little more. Like, I liked kind of the old school Facebook when it was like, you know, I'm getting a sandwich, or oh, this work fucking sucks. Shit like that. Nowadays, it seems to be much more like, here, look at my vacation, which is good. I want to see my friends' vacations. I want to see my friends' kids. I want to see my friends' kids getting medals at soccer. I want to see my friends' kids finishing their T-ball season. I want to see all those things, but I kind of would like to see like, oh, you know, my house is a mess, where I know personally I've not posted pictures that I wanted to post because in the background, like, there was an old plate, or there was a juice cup or something. Like, I've done that before. Like, so I know it happens. I'm not gonna exonerate myself. Like I don't do it, but I just wish it didn't happen as much. I don't know. I don't think there's really a cure, because I think that's what that's where our society's going, is me, 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 me. What about me? What about me? I mean, our goddamn president is the biggest narcissist probably in the history of our country. And it's permeating throughout our culture. What does this mean for me? So I mean, I don't know where you go. I really don't. I just know that I don't like that. If, let's say, even if someone were to speak out on social media, like, they get fucking drugged, like, they're like, oh, don't cry on social media, do something about it, or don't whine about it, do something about it. And I kind of wish we were more open to people, I guess you could say, complaining on social media, because I don't mind it. I think if that's the way that person's asking for help, maybe we should be more willing to help them. And I'm not talking about in the comment section so that it looks like you fucking care. I'm talking about maybe hit them on a side message on Messenger, or maybe give them a phone call, or any old thing you want to do, as opposed to just write a comment or like it, so that you feel better about yourself instead of actually having to do something, which is another big problem with social media, is like with the whole Roseanne thing I talked about last week. And by the way, I got a little backlash for saying the C word so much. That was by design. It was because I think the word cunt is not that big of a deal. It shouldn't be a huge deal, no matter who you call that. If you call the president's daughter that, or your wife that, or your daughter that, or your auntie, or your grandma, whoever you want to call that, you call them. It's a word. Like, let's be real. As long as you're not threatening violence on someone, fuck cares. I mean, come on. So that was by design. And I got a little bit of backlash because I said it so much. And I apologize if I offended. And I don't apologize if I offended you. You shouldn't be offended by the word. But I did just want to say that it was by design. I don't walk around just saying cunt, 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 cunt all day. But it was by design that I said the word that many times. I almost lost my train of thought. I was going so hard on that. What was I talking? Oh yeah, so social media. Yeah. So it's like, it's so easy to get on there and pretend like everybody's perfect. Like when when Roseanne slips up. And I think she was justifiably fired, which I already talked about. I don't want to repeat myself a bunch of times, but let's be honest, like just liking something on Facebook or pretending you're appalled on Facebook or retweeting something or sharing a tweet, like you're not doing anything. You're just trying to make yourself look better to your followers or your friends. Like, I don't give a shit that you shared a tweet by some guy who said Roseanne's an asshole. Like, cool. You hit share. You hit the share button, and now you somehow feel better about yourself. It's like why we used to watch reality TV. Like, you used to watch reality TV to feel better about yourself because you're like, man, at least I'm not 16 and pregnant. At least I'm not a teen mom. And now we watch reality TV. Oh, no, I do have to watch my mouth. Now we watch reality TV to like be jealous. Like, it's the Kardashians and the Real Housewives and the Vanderpumps and all those people that live these luxurious lives. And it went from we wanted to feel better about ourselves so we could make fun of Honey Boo Boo and her fat ass mom to now we want to feel bad about ourselves and be mad that other people have more than us. What's up?
Can I brush my teeth now?
You want to brush your teeth already?
Yeah, Mommy said I could.
Yeah. You want to say bye to everybody? Say night-night?
Night-night.
Night-night. All right, yeah, go brush your teeth. I'll tuck you in. Okay, give me a kiss. Love you. Bye. All right, so that was my one kid appearance for... You can't see, but she's doing the floss dance right now, which happens probably hourly in our house. You want to show everybody the floss?
Yeah, you.
Go ahead. Good one. All right, I love you, baby. Yeah, go brush teeth. Bye. I love you. All right, there. All right. Well, that got me out of my rant stage. It's hard to be mad when that happens. Speaking of, like, does anybody? So if you're not, if you're listening on the podcast, my daughter just came up and told me it was time for her to brush her teeth, and she was going to go to bed, and then she did a little floss dance, and it brought a huge smile to my face because how could it not? Your daughter just being cute as shit. But it did remind me, like, when I picked them up from the baseball game, because my parents had them, I picked them up afterwards. It's like the best 15 minutes of your life when you first pick your kids up, and they're like, they miss you, you miss them, you're hugging, you're laying down with each other, you're relaxing, whatever. And then that 15 minutes fades away, and it's like, oh, fuck, now I have to take care of them again. They're like, Daddy, can I have a water? Can I have chocolate milk? Can I have water? It's nonstop. My kids are like grazers of everything. Like they want water, and then they wait 5 seconds, and then they want goldfish, then they wait 5 seconds, then they want apple, then they wait 5 seconds, then they want banana. It's like, it's non-fucking stop. Like that 15-minute glow just fades so fast. And like, don't get me wrong, that 15-minute glow is totally worth having kids. Like, there's no better feeling in the world. I'm not trying to say that being a parent is shitty, because it's not. It's the best thing in the world. It's trying at times. It's very trying, but it's just funny how the highs and the lows are so insane. And I think that is a good parallel for life. You know, there's going to be a lot of highs. There's going to be a lot of lows. You have to try to find a support system to mellow you out. If any of you guys are looking for support or anything, you know, shoot me a side message. I like pretending like I'm important. I'll listen to your problems, and I might even turn around and make you listen to my problems. So, but no, seriously, I know it's taboo to talk about, but I know not everyone's life is perfect. So if you just need someone to shoot the shit with, let me know. I'll just push back my game of Madden tonight, and I'm more than willing to do that. You guys know how to get up with me, and go titty fuck yourselves. Have a good night.